Hey everyone, in-game here. Today we're going to be looking at a few challenges from the Box CTF. This video is obviously a bit different from my normal OSCP Journey videos, so for those of you expecting an OSCP Journey update, no worries, that'll come here soon. Right now I'm reading through The Art of Exploitation, which is a really good book. I highly recommend it. So since I'm reading that, I don't really have any content for those videos until I finish the book. But I'm making some good progress on it, and I will be doing some like protostar VMEO exploit exercises to kind of validate the knowledge I learned from the book. So that'll come later, so just use this to hold off in the meantime. Instead, today's video is going to be sort of a CTF video write-up. I guess that's what you would call it. It's not really a write-up since it's a video, but I digress. I've been binge watching Live Overflow all weekend, and so I was really inspired by his CTF write-up videos, and I wanted to do a few of my own. Now, the Box CTF is an always-on CTF hosted by Black Box Society, or BBS for short. BBS is a computer security or hacking club at Columbus State University. They use the CTF to train their club members and for like competitions and stuff. And it's publicly available for anyone to come and try. Now, I should mention that I was the president of this club for like the last year or so at my university. And I designed a lot of these challenges and helped maintain this system. So I know how a lot of the challenges work, which is why I should be pretty good for the write-ups here. Now, I wasn't the only one. The club's founder, Christopher Lamberson, aka Clamsec, he's a really great friend of mine. He helped me get this thing off the ground, and together we built a pretty neat CTF. He helped contribute some of the challenges and really encouraged me to get this thing moving. So shout out to him. He's a great guy. I will say, though, that many of these challenges are on the easier side. And that's because this was built as a way to not only train members for competitions, but also introduce new members of the organization to participate and learn about CTFs. Because CTFs are a great way to learn about hacking. If you haven't seen Live Overflow's video about that, you should really play CTFs. I can't stress enough how awesome he is. So today, since a lot of those challenges are on this particular CTF are easier, I'm going to focus on 3 harder ones. We're going to be taking a look at 2 that I took from the Hungry Hungry Hacker CTF I'll talk about in just a second, and 1 that I've made. So also for this video, I'm kind of going for a different approach for how I edit. Now, most of you guys know that when I record my videos, I do like a raw video commentary and cut out any long pauses where I'm waiting on something or thinking too long. But in this video, I wanted to try something new. Now, if I haven't said it already, which I think I have harped on it enough already, I am a huge Live Overflow fan. And I've recently watched this video about how he creates his content. And I've got to say, I really admire his style, but I don't think I could pull it off. But I did really want to try maybe like a mix of his style and my usual style for these particular CTF videos. So what I'm doing is I'm having some stuff scripted, kind of like this intro, ad-libbing of course here and there, and I'll be recording raw commentary on top of this off the top of my head when I actually go in and do the actual challenges. And that'll be kind of like I always do, like you're used to with the OSCP Journey series, if you follow that. If you don't, then you won't be used to any of this, and none of this really applies other than this next part about the feedback. But anyway, I'm going to go back in post after I record everything, and I'll add in any applicable content that will expound upon things that could maybe be better explained from a challenge that I do, or if there's just an educational moment where I want to share some more stuff that I know that maybe I didn't explain as I was solving the challenge. So that's kind of what I'm going for. So it'll be edited a little differently than my normal videos. If you like the format that this video ends up in, then please let me know. I need that kind of feedback. I want to do more CTF write-up videos like this in the future because I love CTFs and I would like to join the awesome community that's kind of building up and contribute to my own content to this area of playing CTFs and doing video write-ups and stuff. It's already a really big community, but not quite as many people make videos of it, at least not great quality ones. I don't know. I only know of a few. If you know some more places to watch great CTF videos, please shout out those people in the comments below. I need more stuff to binge watch. Anyway, if you also don't like this format, of course, let me know, and please make some suggestions on what could be better, because I'm kind of just winging it, and I'm experimenting with some different ideas right now, and it'd be great if I could find something that sticks. Also, let me know if you'd be interested in any live streaming of CTFs or retired Hack the Box machines, kind of like this style. Currently, I don't have a great setup to do that, but just in just a few weeks or so, I plan to purchase VIP on Hack the Box and also get a better office setup that will be conducive to doing something like live streaming. So if you're interested in me doing that, please let me know. I'd like to try it. Alright, so let's get into this. Just a disclaimer, I'm obviously spoiling flags and challenges in this video. There are no rewards for this CTF, it's purely a training platform, so if you don't want the solution spoiled, stop watching now. For those of you who are still here, since this club is managed by new people, and I'm not sure how long the CTF will be available, hopefully they'll continue to build on it, I'm not really associated with this club anymore now that I'm out of school. Completed university, don't really have anything to do with them anymore other than this is where I left off. So I'm really just enjoying this as while they're here, or enjoying it while it's here. I would really hope they would continue to build off of it and use this as a platform, but if not, it's still here, so let's play some CTF, you know? That's also kind of why I picked this. That's one of the reasons is because I don't know how long it would be around. The other reason is while I was in university, I didn't really get to play the CTF. I was too busy maintaining it and designing challenges, and since I knew all the answers at the time, it would be cheating if I played. So now it's my turn to play. So that's kind of why I'm excited for it. So I haven't touched a lot of these challenges in a year or two, and because some of these challenges are taken from Hungry Hackers, hosted by Georgia Tech, there's some write-ups that I've kind of delayed that I could have done when I participated in that I haven't. And so it'd be nice. It's going to be nice to kind of revisit those challenges. And of course, being the naughty hacker I am, this is the kind of the Georgia Tech piece. Any challenges that I solved at other competitions and that were easily replicated, I was able to steal those and bring them back to my club to help us train with CTF for other competitions. Thought it was a pretty smart idea and helpful from the training perspective. And of course, we gave credit where credit is due. Those guys at Georgia Tech who put on Hungry Hackers are freaking awesome. I'll still be returning to that competition if I can. It's usually university only, so you can only play if you're a student. But they, I think last year they let pros play, and you were just disqualified from winning any prizes. But you could still play the CTF. So if they're letting you do that, I will definitely be back. That is an awesome CTF. So without further ado, let's dive in. We're going to look at 3 challenges. 2 are from H3, and 1 is an original written by yours truly. And I wrote it around a year ago, so I'm not real sure what the exact solution is, but we'll find it. Alright, so the 3 we're going to look at is Dragon. Dragon is a reversing challenge from H3. It was on the easier side of things in terms of reversing. Time is a pwn challenge that was actually the first pwn challenge I have ever solved because I've always been too scared that I was too much of a noob and I never tried to solve pwn challenges whenever I went to CTF. I usually stuck to forensics and web. I am a web weenie after all, I've said it time and time again. But this last H3 I actually tried. I said, you know what, I've gotten a lot better over the years. Let's quit being a weenie and give it a shot. And it paid off. It really wasn't as hard as it ended up being. You'll kind of see that when we do that portion of this. Anyway, so my advice there is, even if you don't think you're any good at a particular category of challenge, try it anyway. The reality is sometimes they're a lot easier than you think they are, and you never know if you don't try. So always try. That's my best advice there. I tried, and it was successful, so I'll keep on trying. Now, the last one is the harder forensics challenge called Feel the Music. That's the one I wrote. It's going to be a little bit more difficult than the others, so hopefully it won't take me too long. So let's dive in, starting with Dragon. So Dragon is listed for 100 points here. I'm not sure how much it was worth at Georgia Tech's Hungry Hackers. But the prompt for the challenge, so it says, we clearly stole this one from Georgia Tech's H3. We have no shame. Either way, you can enter the Dragon's Lair and find the flag. Or can you, I guess. Not telling us we can. So let's download this challenge. And hop over to a terminal. Let's go into our Dragon folder. And we will move from downloads Dragon to here. Alright, and then we'll just make it executable real quick. And before we run it, let's see what kind of file it is. We're just running strange files on our computer. No big deal. Alright, so this is a 64-bit ELF binary, is what it looks like anyway. We could run... Usually what I do first with reversing challenges is I run strings on it. And it looks like we've got this big ol' Welcome Hungry Hungry Dragons banner, and we have the flag right here in the strings. So that one's really easy. I didn't realize that was how easy that one was actually when I was kind of prepping for the video and looking through it. So that should be the flag. There's another way to solve this. It's more intuitive that we'll look at real quick, since that was so easy. That was actually unexpected and totally unplanned. So you see here in the other strings, there's a display flag. So if we actually open this in something like R2, we can do and analyze all everything. I forget what AAA means, but I know it's to analyze everything. And then we can do a VV for visual mode. And we can go down here to the sim display flag function, and it's right here. If we kind of go in depth to it with V, that's not what I want to do. Still not super good at radar, but here we go. That's what I want to do, and the flag's right here as a string. So I just want to take a side note here and explain kind of what I was trying to talk about with those commands in Radari 2. So there's this neat little article that I usually reference as a cheat sheet. It's called An Introduction to Radari 2. It's a little bit dated, back in 2015, as you can see here. But basically, it's got a couple reference links for cheat sheets and stuff like that. I don't recommend this to be an up-to-date article, but it's still pretty relevant when it comes to getting you off the ground with Radari. So for most static analysis challenges, the first two things I do are what I did in this video. So you run Analyze All or the newer AAA, but either way it's for Analyze All. So when you do Analyze All after loading a binary into Radari, it's going to analyze the binary and find any symbols and stuff like that to allow you to do things like visual mode for the graph view. And then then you can do it V2 or capital V to enter visual mode, or a little hint that you can use question mark to do as well. And then you can view a graph of a function by hitting V, and that will send you into graph mode. This is super useful if you don't have something on hand like IDA or Hopper, because Radari is super powerful. In fact, I've heard some people say it's better than IDA in some respects. I'm not really heavy into the reversing scene, so I'm not looking to throw any shade anywhere. I'm sure they're all great tools, but this is an open source free one that makes it just makes a lot of sense to use in the context of CTF. So just wanted to go back and re-explain that, just so you guys weren't super confused as to why I use those particular commands. Those two usually get you off the ground when it comes to basic static analysis with Radari. If you want to learn more, I believe Live Overflow has a great video where he shows off some debugging using Python and R2 pipe, because you can actually use Radari as a debugger as well. So yeah. So that's the other way I would have solved it, using an actual reversing tool. I think that's actually how I solved it in the context of the competition. So that one was really easy. Just to kind of break it down, the flag was getting printed out as a string, and we were able to see that real easy. We didn't even have to run this binary, because that's why you always run strings first on a binary, because if you were to actually just run the binary, that's all you get. Just a cool little ASCII art. Now, I will admit that ASCII arts were really bitching. I like it. But yeah, challenge is that easy, so let's go get our points. Awesome. Okay, so let's take a look at time. So this is our very first Pwn challenge ever. Also ripped from Vertex H3 with some slight modifications, so thank those folks if you enjoy this challenge. Again, shout out to the guys at H3, who put on H3. So the actual description of this challenge is, do you have what it takes to Pwn time? Included is a 64-bit Linux binary containing the flag and source code to make pwning a bit easier. Now, they do have a notice. You can technically solve this challenge with reverse engineering. We are aware of this, but want to let you know that even if you choose to do that, even if you're crazy good, at least for this particular challenge, we can assure you that pwning it is way easier than trying to reverse engineer it. And trust us, even though it's been obfuscated, reversing this one is pretty easy to begin with. All the future pwn challenges, including this one, will always be better if pwned correctly than if you try to reverse them, but feel free to try both ways. So whenever this challenge was run at the actual H3, obviously had like a server running where you netcat in, and this program was running on a service, and you would try to pwn it there, and it would read out a flag. In this particular case, there's no infrastructure in place to run this type of challenge, so they obfuscated the flag in the code, and it's actually in the binary. You just can't run strings on it like we did before, so it's not that easy. But you could reverse it and deobfuscate the strings and find the flag that way, but that's not as cool as if you were to pwn it. So that's all that notice is about. And I'm the one who obfuscated the code here, so I will tell you that it is way harder to deobfuscate than it is to just pwn. So I do not recommend trying to reverse it unless that's just your prerogative. You could try that. It's not hard, because I'm not any good at reversing, but it's also not the worst thing in the world. So here I already have a solution. You'll see pwntime.sh. We'll look at that in a minute when we actually do it. That's just because the solution to this challenge is so convoluted, at least the way I did it, that it's easier for me to pre-write out than trying to kind of break down. So before we run that time, we have the source code, so let's just look at the source code. So if we open time.c up, we got this give flag function that says if you see this, try whatever you just did on the real binary to get the flag, because that means what you did worked, because it called the give flag. So we have a unsigned integer random initialized. We are setting the random number generator. That's what this sran does. So we're setting that to the current time as seed. So we're setting the sran seed to current time, and then we're calling the random function and assigning its whatever it returns to random, which is our value we initialized here. And then we are looking at, then we're initializing variable ands, which looks like we do a scanf and assign the user's input to that value, which is also a unsigned integer, 32-bit, and then we print that out. It says your guess was this, and they were looking for this, and if answer equals the random number, print the flag, otherwise flush standard out. So this looks like a number guesser, so we have to guess a random number, and if we guess the random number, then we get the flag. Well, that doesn't seem very likely, right? Let's run the program and show what's up. So if we run this and we enter a number, say 15, and it was looking for that, and then we run this again and we say, okay, well, let's guess, I guess 1000. And it's a completely different number now because it's based on the current time. That's when the seed is what the seed is. But there's actually a flaw with that. Because it's based on the current time, if you give this program input fast enough, the number will be the same when you run it twice in a row. So how could we interact with the program to kind of get it to do this more programmatically? Well, if I say echo 100 and pipe that into time, does it automatically run the program? Does it take standard in? And it does. It lets me pipe my output from echo into time and automatically execute the program. So now what I can do, which you'll notice, if I execute this fast enough, I'll get the same number twice in a row for the answer that it's looking for. So if I up arrow, and do that really fast, you'll see that the output back to back for the number it was looking for is right. So if I could somehow run this in the same amount of time, get this value, and then pass that value here, then it should be the same, and I should be able to exploit it. So that was the first observation I made when solving this challenge, and that's kind of the flaw with using time as your seed. At least that's the way I understood it. I'm not an expert on any of this by any means. Like I said, this is my very first pwn challenge ever. So what I did was I wrote a neat little script to do this for me, and that's where this pwn time sh comes in. So I echo a random value. In this case, it's just 1. Don't really care. This could be but for all I care. And and we pipe that into time, and then we grep for looking, which is our output that we get. So we're looking for the output, looking for X number. That's what it says. So we grep on that, and then I have this awesome sed command, which does some regex to extract any characters and leave us with only integers. It's probably overcomplicated for the task at hand. I honestly pulled this off of Stack Overflow looking for multiple sed regexes until it worked, and this one was the one that worked. We can actually break it down, which I'll probably do in post. So yeah, shortly after recording this video, I realized there has got to be an easier way than this complicated set expression that I don't even understand. So I actually went back and looked at the set expression just so I could explain to you guys what was going on. So this is the Stack Overflow solution I had found. The user who made this down here. So they explained it pretty well. They said it's easier to think this backwards. From the end string, match 0 or more non-digit characters, which is what's going on here. Then match and capture one or more digit characters. So these are digits, so that's what this expression's for. Then it match at least one non-digit character, and then match all the characters at the start of the string. So that's why this works. It matches all the characters at the start of the string, and then will match all the digits from there on, which is really, really complicated from what we want to do. So since that was so complicated, I figured I would try something simpler. In fact, in the context of the competition, I think this is exactly what I did. So just as a demo, I have this echo looking for 1 through 0 on the top of the keyboard. So just a really long arbitrary string, could be about as long as ever. So with grep, you can actually specify regular expressions. And basically, since I've already grepped once, this would be the output resulting from my initial grep, right? So we grepped on looking, and that gave us that output. Then we're left with this string, and if we pipe that into grep again and say, hey, we only want digits, or 0 through 9, you could also, I believe, specify /d, we'll try that in a second, and then give me 1 through 30 characters. This is just so it doesn't print them out as individual characters, but instead gives us a whole list of them. And we could specify 9,999, so, and for in this case, it really doesn't matter as long as we have plenty of room to get all the characters we could possibly need. So if we run this, we see that it gives us the characters we're looking for. And if we modify this expression just to say, I believe, /d, it works just fine as well. So it simplifies a little bit more, because /d is the alias for the bracket 0 through 9, which is all digits. So yeah, so that's just an easier way I could have done that instead of copying and pasting some Stack Overflow solution. But when it comes to CTFs, whatever's quick, dirty, and works is usually the way to go. But it's nice to better understand and come up with cleaner, easier solutions. So in this case, using 2 greps would have been a lot cleaner and more intuitive than a complicated set expression. So yeah. Alright, and so once we get the output from this, that should be the value that we're looking for, and it pipes it back into time. And we'll see that this gives us the flag. So if we, before we run that, we'll break this down even further. So we'll show how we achieve that stuff. So if we grep for looking, you'll see that we got that value. And then our goal, if we run this twice, you'll see that our theory still is true. So now if I run bash pwnetime.sh, our guess is the same number, because what happens is we'll see what the output is from this command. So just so you guys can see, whenever we do our sed to extract that number, we get the value we desire, and see how it's changing. But if we do it fast, there you go. And since it's piping it all in one foul swoop, whenever we run this as it should be, we're able to get the flag. And so the flag is time is pwnable. So that is time. And we've already submitted the flag for this one, but just to show you guys that that is indeed the flag. We've already solved it. Bam, there we go. Finally, it's time for us to feel the music. So the prompt for this challenge is, a hacker named Yardboy has been trying to communicate with his colleagues through obscure means. And it appears he's trying to promote someone's SoundCloud in the process. All we could find was this image, and we think has the message in it, and a sample from his buddy's Fire mixtape. So We got a hint here and a secret image. So let's open those up. So our hint is this bobflick.exe. You can kind of see how that sounds. Okay, so that was god awful. Hopefully we never have to hear that again. So that was the hint. I'm not sure that's really going to be useful other than it being music. I think that's the big hint here. And that sounded to me, I'm a musician, and spoiler, I did write this challenge, I've already said that. I'm a musician as well, and I know that sounded like some basic MIDI piano, so maybe it's going to have something to do with MIDI. That's my first thought whenever I get an audio file. I usually assume either A, it's Morse code and I'm going to hate my life, or B, maybe it's something to do with MIDI or some other instrumental music related thing. And so that's what this challenge is kind of focused on, is that kind of music type stuff. So fieldmusic.jpg. Move that here. Alright, so the first thing I do with these forensics types challenges is run a file and do some forensics type stuff on it. So since we're given a file, we can open this in XXD to view the raw hex and look at some file headers and stuff. So we'll pipe that into less so we can read that easier. And if we scroll through this file, had a JFIF file header at the beginning. I'm not really seeing anything yet. Oh, and at the end we have what looks like some music stuff. I know we saw some guitar, piano. Go back to the bottom there so you can see that again. Yeah, so MTHD, electric piano, and stuff like that. So this is not a file header I'm familiar with. So what we can do is go to Gary Kessler, file signatures, and look for MTHD. This looks like it'll be the MIDI file format. So it's a different file header than I would expect, and that's obviously not just an image, even though it would look like just an image. So obviously if we open this image up here, that's what that looks like. And it looks like just an image, but it's clearly not. So normally what I try to do in a challenge like this, it seems like a file carving challenge, is I'll try to run Foremost on it. Foremost is a utility that will automatically try to perform file carving on a file that you give it. And it doesn't look like Foremost found the MIDI file. Shame on you, Foremost, you're not quite good enough, are you? So it looks like we're going to have to carve this out. I'm not real good at using DD and XD yet. Maybe that's something I need to learn how to do. So what I like to do is go to hex.it, which is an online HTML5 text editor that works really great for this type of challenge. So I'm going to open up our file here. And then I'm going to scroll down to where the MIDI file header begins. Actually, we're going to find it. So MTHD, we know, starts with 4D, so MTHD. And we're going to go to MTHD. Oops. I can't type worth damn. Alright, so let's see this again. So capital T MT MTHD. There we go. Starts here. So we're gonna carve out everything from there down. So if we go all the way down here, actually we don't even need to go all the way down there. We just need to grab this last byte. That's the only bad thing about this online tool, is it makes it difficult to carve since it doesn't auto scroll. That's why being a wizard with DD and XXD would be great right now. So I'm going to embarrass myself in front of you guys so you guys know not to do what I'm doing right now and go learn to do it the more efficient way. Alright, so since we've got them all, we can export these bytes as a URL. And I'm actually going to export them as hexadecimal. And what I can do now is actually just copy this hex, copy it, create a new file. Actually, I can open a new pane. And insert bytes here. Actually, I can just paste. And I want to insert the raw data at cursor position and apply. And I want to export this file as, well, that's not what I wanted exported as, but we'll take it. So now if we move downloads untitled to thing.midi, I guess, and we do a file on thing.midi, looks like it's reading as a valid MIDI file. I wonder if Ranger will let us see it. I don't have anything to preview. Yeah, I only have image preview. So what we can do is there's a couple online MIDI editors. So online MIDI editor, maybe it'll show us some more info. And while we're waiting on that, what we can do is we can run foremost on that as well, just to see. Doesn't look like it found anything either. And we can run strings on thing.midi. You can also run strings on our field music. It found the weird stuff as well. Another thing we can do is run exif tool on field music. If I had exif tool installed, so maybe we need to install exif tool. I think exif tool is like a part of an exif package. We'll worry about that later. I really need that installed. It's a super useful tool for metadata. Alright, online sequencer maybe? This looks like it might be promising, so we can upload a MIDI file here, and hopefully it'll let us view it. It's been a while since I've done this. And continue. File extension was not allowed. So it doesn't support .mid, or .midi, so maybe it supports .mid. So move thing.midi, thing.mid. That's kind of weird of it not to accept .midi, but whatever. Expected into file. Interesting. So maybe we carved it out wrong. Okay, after some time I realized it was just the MIDI editor that was causing a problem, and I even did some research on file carving with DD. It looks pretty simple. You just find the address space and grep for that, and then do some calculations to, I think, convert the hex to a specific base. Can't remember that part, but I digress. Once you find that, you can pretty much specify those offsets with DD and carve out a file. In this case, it wasn't going to be more efficient since we already did have it carved out. Now, looking at it in this MIDI editor, it's really hard to read. It's flag in the flag format, and this says LIKI, I think. But I know that's not the flag. I know what the flag's supposed to be. So maybe if we try to open this the other track here, I don't know, but it should look something more like that. So flag is low key. That is my friend's SoundCloud, by the way, or DJ handle. I don't really know what you call it, but that's what he goes by. It's his artist name, Loki. Go check out his music. He makes some pretty banging stuff. You might have already heard of him. But yeah, so that was the SoundCloud plug here. It was an actual SoundCloud plug, so the flag should be Loki. I'll admit, this one got a lot of complaints whenever people would solve it, simply because it's hard to read, especially if you use an online MIDI editor like this. I know if you open this with something like GarageBand or something, which I don't have another software installed on this particular machine to handle that, but if you were to, it would render perfectly, which is amazing and shows that online MIDI editors are definitely not a great solution. So yeah, that was Field Music. Okay, so that's it. Thanks for watching, everyone. Please give feedback on this style of video and let me know what you think. Also, let me know about the live streaming idea if you would like to. I would like to try it once I get my office space set up in the near future. Also, I will be releasing an OSCP journey video as soon as I finish my book. So just let this video hold you over until then. Thanks for watching. Drop a like and subscribe if you want. And until next time.